Alright, welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. I am currently in their research library. It's not very big, but it is really cool because books. Anyway, I'm gonna go give you guys a tour of the museum. Lots of cool history here. Some stuff I have questions on. Anyway, let's go see the museum. This wall here shows the native names for the native tribes that once lived in this area. This is a replica of one of the war leaders that used to live in this area too. I'm not sure of his native name, but his English name was Roman Nose. So the actual Fort Wallace no longer exists. Kansas does not have a lot of trees and thus doesn't have a lot of wood. So anytime anything is shut down or a town dies, the rest of the people just come in and take the wood and the stone and anything else of use and repurpose it. There are some original pieces in the museum that were at Fort Wallace. One of which is this armoire sideboard and the clock, and also this writing desk. This particular stagecoach is a replica of one from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch Company. However, the replica was made based off designs that were original. It has actually been used. They pulled this massive coach with 4 horses. These straps are meant as kind of a suspension to make the ride a little bit easier. And here is the actual coach itself. Can you imagine riding miles in this tight space with someone in the middle? Or possibly even on the roof with the luggage. Window coverings to keep a little bit of the dust or the cold out, depending on the season. Well, it's always dusty and windy in Kansas. Just look at the size of these wheels. It would be really bad if one of them broke. It would definitely slow down the journey. The back portion is also for storage. The rest of this room has storefronts, locations that would have been in the town originally. There's a printing press, laundry, hotel, Western Times office. We've got General Mercantile. Oh look, it's a bear. There's a dealer in everything store, so probably again similar to a mercantile, but not quite called that. Check out these old school hats. We should bring the hat back. Who doesn't love a stylish hat? Don't know about all the lace though. I have mixed feelings on lace. This here is a wedding dress. Look at the detail on that. That was probably an expensive dress. An old chest. and a little bit of everything. Some old toys, old things for babies. The Wallace County Bank. Apparently, the bank had an IOOF and GAR lodge in the upper floors, and in 1976, a full human skeleton was found in what was one time the IOOF lodge. So I'm gonna have to find out what in the heck that means. Golden Eagle. As I've said before, Kansas was once part of an inland sea, and I love all of the fossils that all these museums have. It's just fascinating. So check out this one. The big one is a replica. The actual museum is I believe in Philadelphia. The actual skeleton fossils, but what's here is supposed to be a true replica. So let's check it out. Way over there is the head of a plesiosaur. It was discovered in 1867 by Thorpe Turner. Thorpe is the shortened version of his name. But check out how big this thing was. This is the replica. I really love fossils. So the actual skeleton was shipped to Edward Drinker Cope at the Academy of Natural Science in Philadelphia. And as a funny little bit, Cope was so excited to publish his paper that he put the head on the wrong end of the skeleton. Yeah, that's what they were supposed to have looked like. In theory. We don't actually know. But check out all these other fossils that are here. Some of these you will read are replicas of an actual piece. But either way, they're still really cool. Look at that mammoth tooth. That's just one single tooth. There were once camels here in the States. Three-toed horses, ground sloths, rhinos. Here's a complete bird skeleton. I cannot pronounce the name of it, but it looks cool. There's the name of it. And this is an actual Mosasaurus skull. I would not have wanted to be swimming when he was swimming. Got some types of rocks formation. Well, petrified woods, not really. Well, it is a rock now. Geodes, meteorites, fool's gold. I have no idea what a moss opal is. Crystal rock, and some more crystal. Alright, so outside of the museum proper are a number of buildings. Some are historical in origin, and some contain historical artifacts. So, we're going to go explore these. Also, this buffalo behind me is made of barbed wire. It's made over a mile of barbed wire. Just a little fun fact. But we're going to go see some more of the art in one of these buildings. Okay, the first of the buildings is the Pond Creek Stage Station. So the big stagecoach inside would have stopped here to pick up passengers and supplies. So let's go take a look on the inside. If I can open the door. Oh, alrighty. So these stagecoach lines are fairly long. This one's from Leavenworth, Kansas to Denver. Or at least the one here. There is a trapdoor in the floor to escape from the natives when they were in the area trying to protect their land and heritage. There's a bunch of just little artifacts in these cases. They're just wonderful little bits of history. Oh no, that one's fallen over. We'll have to tell them. By the way, the area of Kansas that we're in, I'll give you guys a view outside, is the Smoky Hills Basin area. It really is quite gorgeous. A little bit more rolling hills than you probably expect to see in the state of Kansas. So the stagecoach era of travel in the American West did not last forever. It was upstaged by the railroad. This is an old railway station. No, it probably did not originate here. I'm not sure when they moved it here, but it's got some really cool stuff inside. So let's go see. So passengers would have come in here and looked at the train times. And here's where they could buy their tickets. And this is kind of where they would have hung out and waited for their train. Railroad spikes and some other tools. Check out this old radio. Some informational stuff. Okay, so this building itself is not historic, but what's inside of it is really cool. So we've got some old wagons and some other really neat stuff and functional works of art in a way that I actually have not seen before. And it made me really happy. So let's go see. So remember the bison in the front of the museum? Well, it was made by Ernie Poe, and so were a rather large number of other sculptures in this building. So let's go check them out. So we do have some taxidermied eagles over here. The first of the animals is a jayhawk. So if you're a Kansas jayhawk fan, there's your symbol. This is a rug loom. This is a original chuck wagon, not a replica. I don't know about all the implements that are on it, but the wagon itself has clearly been restored and cleaned up. But it's original. And here's what I mean by functional art. The artist has made barbed wire animals to show how they were yoked to the wagon in this case. Isn't that cool? This is a Constega wagon, and you guys need a view for this from the distance. These are the wagons that people would have come west in. They were really popular from about 1820 to 1840. But yeah, your whole life would be in that wagon. Here we've got a blacksmith shop, and this bit of functional art shows how the blacksmith would shoe a horse. So, horse is being shod, if you're curious. Alrighty. Behind me, I'm not 100% sure what this is, and the sign does not tell me, but it's cool. This is a buggy, complete with horse. Again, this is a great representation of how all these straps and such fit together on the animal, complete with blinders. This is a sled, similar to the sled that we saw at the Scott City, or the El Cortalejo Museum in Scott City, but a little bit smaller. Again, more ponies. Some really cool art and use of probably old barbed wire. Check out this old wagon. This has been refurbished, I think is the correct term. And it is an original wagon. Here's a corn wagon. I'm guessing it was just used to haul corn. Here we've got a Hendrick oil wagon. I guess they just pulled oil in it. There's what it would look like yoked up to a pair of horses. Back here, we've got donated fire engines. Most of the items in here are technically on loan from the families, so they do not belong to the museum, but the families have loaned them so that the public can see them and experience the history of them. Check out this old truck. I kind of flashed by it earlier, but this is wood. This is a wooden truck. I bet it would have rattled you all day long. Here's some of the animals. So we've got a coyote, wolf over there. And down here we've got some pheasants, a cat, and a pig. So next to the pig is what's called a hog boiler. I have no idea what a hog boiler is, but I'll find out. Okay. So in every museum I talk about the barbed wire, but this museum has more than I've ever seen anywhere else, not including in the animals. But we had the original panel, we've got this panel, and then there's all of these panels down here. They just keep going. They're in 2 layers, there's so many of them. It's just fantastic. Above all the barbed wire, there's the cast iron implement seat collection. But these are actually pretty neat. A lot of them have words in them. They're different colors. These are heavy. I bet they were cold in the winter, and I bet they were scorching in the summer. Then there are a number of other tools on this wall. Again, I'm not 100% sure some of these are. They look like pumps and other things that would have powered things. Again, not very helpful on that. Heater, and then some old farming implements here, and just shop implements. So saws, corn knife, hay forks, drills, hay knife, a wooden corn planter, and a flail used for thrashing grain, along with some ice tongs. So this museum has a little bit of everything, including a vacuum, but I think that's just for upkeep. Oh, these are planters. There is a little bit of information. So this planter here, and then this over here is a Van Brunt drill. If anyone knows what that is, they're more than welcome to enlighten me. That I know is a plow. I think these are as well. Hand push. And that is a giant bellows, probably for a blacksmith shop. So the last building that's part of the Fort Wallace Memorial Museum collection is this church. It was moved here, or at least stopped being used in, I believe, 1954. And it's pretty in its simplicity. But what I really love is the stained glass. So that's what I'm taking you guys to see. Because frankly, I adore stained glass. It is decorated for Christmas, which I appreciate the holiday spirit. So, very tiny church, essentially just one room. This is the sanctuary. The stained glass is not here. This is where the stained glass is. I know. I'm aware there's a ladder, but we're just gonna look at how pretty and pearly and just, oh, all the iridescent colors just make me so happy. It does make me sad that there are some cracks in it. But again, this church is very old. So, beautiful stained glass. And there's a little bit more above the entrance here that you can best see from the back. Again, it has some issues, but overall it is gorgeous. And this church is originally from 1888. Okay, I had no idea what to expect coming out to this Fort Wallace Museum, and honestly, I loved it. It's got a ton of information. There's fossils, there's all those old vehicles, including the chuck wagon, which was really cool. Just a ton of information, and the people that work here are more than happy to answer any questions that you have. So all in all, if you're in, I'm not even sure what county I'm in anymore. Point being, if you're on the way to Colorado, on the very western side of Kansas, and you've got some time, this is definitely a museum worth stopping in, just for the fossils, and then you stay for the history. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna go find out some more information on the body that was found in the old bank building and what the heck a hog boiler is, and I will see y'all later. I also want to point out that there is a tiny rest area here at the museum that does have some picnic tables. So if you need to just stop at any time, you can do that here. I don't promise that the museum will be open and that is where the restrooms are, but at least you can get off the road for a few minutes. Alright, welcome back to my library. So I had a chance to do some research, and I had found answers to the questions that I had after leaving the museum. So a couple of the questions I actually talked to the museum staff about. The first one was, what in the heck is a hog boiler? It's the shape of a football and it's big-sized, hog-sized. Turns out it's a drum-shaped device that's filled with oil and other topical insecticides that the pigs can rub against. And it applies it to their skin so that it helps get rid of bugs and keep them off. There are similar larger ones for cattle, actually. Alright, the second thing I had a question about when leaving the museum was what was up with the skeleton that was found in the old bank building in Wallace, Kansas. This one I was only able to find limited information about. The museum gave me a copy of an old newspaper article, actual copy, but I wasn't able to find any other reference to this specific skeleton. Heck, I'm not even 100% sure what newspaper this is from. I have a suspicion, but I'm not 100% sure. I do know that it's about from 1976, only because that information was on the placard in the museum, not because it's listed in this article. But I have to read you guys a little bit of this. So, headline, not many people have real skeletons in the closet. So, this guy buys this old bank building and he's going through it to clean it out, and he opens a closet door. It says, opening the door, he was surprised to find what resembled an old coffin resting in the 2-foot-high space in the closet's floor. So there's a secret compartment in the closet's floor. In finding the coffin wasn't surprise enough. He was really jolted when he pried off the top and discovered a complete skeleton in it. So, fun thing to find when you buy a building. So, all that being said, like I said, I wasn't able to find anything else about this particular skeleton, but further research I did come across a 2001 LA Times article about another skeleton found hidden in a similar way. Both that skeleton and the Wallace, Kansas skeleton have been attributed to the Oddfellows as part of an initiation rite in regards to the skeleton being a symbol of mortality. If you want more information, I will link the LA Times article below. So, very interesting bit of history there. There was an Oddfellows and a Mason Society said to have been rented as those societies rented the top floor of the bank building. So it's par for the course for what is known. Alright, now on to my favorite bit of history from the Fort Wallace Museum. and that is the Elasmosaurus fossil. I previously called this fossil a plesiosaur. I apologize, I think they're related, but this one actually is an Elasmosaurus. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Ethan, who's a huge dinosaur nerd, who helped me with the research for this because I really didn't know where to start. So thank you, Ethan. And I will link his full write-up and his sources in my description. So the skeleton hanging from the ceiling of the Fort Wallace Museum is a replica, based off the original, but not all of the original was found. Some of it's probably washed away, or it's still in the rock matrix where the original skeleton was discovered, fossils were discovered. So, the initial discovery was made in 1867 by Army surgeon Theophilus Hunt Turner, and I apologize if I pronounced his name wrong. The fossilized bones and surrounding matrix that could be found were shipped to paleontologist Edward Inker Cope in Philadelphia in 1868. Cope was the one that named this particular find Elasmosaurus lataris. So he had his first write-up of the find completed in 1869, and when they unearthed the Elasmosaurus, the head was found really close to the tail. The actual skull was found close to the tail. And so in his excitement, Cope attached the head to the tail thinking it was the neck. So thinking short neck, long tail. When in actuality, it's a long neck, short tail. His mentor, paleontologist Joseph Laci, pointed out the inaccuracies in his recreation. In response, Cope quickly revised the manuscript with the head at the correct end. One of these pre-corrected manuscripts made its way into the hands of fellow paleontologist and rival Orthnell Charles Marsh, and again, I hope I'm saying that name correctly, who would openly joke about the error in naturalist circles, so total embarrassment for Cope. This sparked a lot of rivalry, and there's different records saying who said what when, but all told, the accusations of who said what and when would be a major trigger for one of the most sensational and destructive series of events in all of natural history. The infamous Bone Wars. Over the next 150 years, parts of this original Elasmosaurus specimen would go missing. This includes section of the vertebrae, the pectoral, pelvic girdles, and fragments of the ribs. The skull and jaw that perturbed Cope, that he put on the tail originally, all the way back in the 1870s, are still known and safely kept in collection of the Academy of Natural Sciences at Drexel University. So at least that we know is true. In the Fort Wallace Museum, among the photos and literature and replicas from that time, you can find this recreation of this massive marine monster that Dr. Turner found with William Comstock protruding from a side of a ravine in February out in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I had a lot of fun researching it. A lot more skeletons than I expected to be found in this museum, or at least history of skeletons. So if you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next adventure.